Greetings everyone, Joseph James here once again with your nightly newsletter brought to you by theschooloftrade.com. Today was November 12th, 2009. I want to remind you guys about our YouTube page. Head to our YouTube page, guys, /School of Trade. While you're there, guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel that we get all the new videos. Please rate and comment on this video. And then, guys, below this video, you'll see a link for our track record. Check out our track record. It gives a tick-by-tick recap of all the trades we've taken over the past year in the live trade room. Let's talk about our trade room totals today. We took 5 ticks out of the market today after a last-minute final trade. We dug ourselves out of initial stop to get the day started. Just barely got back in the green. Had a pretty tough day in the market, though. Today was a pretty tough day. We had some choppy price action. Volume was decent, but really a lot of indecision, and we'll talk about that as we move our way through. Right, 5 ticks in the market today. That puts our $1,200 weekly total. And if you follow me down here, we've got a monthly total here, guys, $33.35. And, of course, don't forget about that $10,000 goal here in the month of November. We'll keep you guys posted as we make our way through the month of November. The term of the day today is tape reading. Well, tape reading is a study of raw price action as it comes across your time and sales window. Now, we use tape reading every day at all times in our live trade room. It's considered to be the purest form of the market. And it dates all the way back to the 1870s when that old ticker tape machine was being used, reporting out those paper statements, right, of the latest bid and ask. We use the same principles, except today we use, of course, a more electronic version. Now, it's very simple, guys. Here's how it's used. Here's how we read the tape. It's used to predict short-term price changes by examining the price and the volume as it comes across your ticker tape. Most effectively, it's used at potential turning points in the market to gauge overall market sentiment and to help determine the future direction of price. Traders will use this to confirm a potential trade or potentially to avoid the trade. And, of course, we can also use it to know when momentum on a move is dried up, signaling us, of course, to take profit early or to stay in the trade. So we use this to predict short-term price changes. Those short-term price changes will give us an idea of what the overall market sentiment is. Once we identify sentiment, we'll then look for a confirmation to get into the trade, or we may not see any confirmation at all. In that case, we would avoid the trade. We also know that when we're in a trade, we also use this tape reading skill to know when the move is about to reverse or when it's coming to an end. So tape reading while we're in a trade allows us to know when to take our profit early, right? When to cut that thing and get out of the market. Or if we see the trade is going to keep running, we may want to stay in the market, of course, maximize our profits. Now again, guys, reading the tape is vital to day traders. It's considered the pulse of the market. And we use it at different times. We look at the tape to see overall volume for our entries and our exits around specific price levels of support and resistance, such as a high of day or a low of day. And we also read the tape as a relative comparison tool. So for example, if the pace of a tape is really moving fast now, we compare that to what it looked like 10 minutes ago. So it's a great relative comparison tool. We watch it around specific price levels. We use it for our entries. We use it for our exits. One of the easiest ways to read the tape is going to be to use this pace of a tape indicator. Now, a brand new tool, guys, from the School of Trade. As you can see here, guys, we will be looking here, right, looking in this direction on my fast time frame for a long trade. Okay, so I was at this point, of course, looking for a long trade, a 2-step pattern long. However, though, if you follow me down, right, we use the pace of a tape indicator, and when we see red pace of a tape, that means slow price action. This is going to be a great aid to reading your time and sales window, right? Just above that, we have your filtered time and sales window on the right. We have your unfiltered time and sales window on the left. It may be difficult sometimes to learn how to read that time and sales window. So we use the pace of a tape indicator as a definite tool to help us look for visual patterns. Now, of course, we're going to show you guys how to use the pace of a tape indicator. We'll also show you guys how to read the tape tomorrow morning in our live trade room. It opens up at 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time, so make sure you guys come out and join us for that. When you guys come in, grab a copy of the beginner's course. If you haven't been with us very long, grab a copy of the beginner's course. That'll give you guys a lot of information about how we trade, why we trade, where we trade in live trade room. It'll give you guys a great head start for your 3-week trial. Let's take a look at some of the trades we took today. Now, today was a pretty tough day in the market. Coming out of the holiday from yesterday, we were expecting to see a little bit more than we got today. I was surprised by the fact that we didn't see a lot of conviction. We had some decent volume. We had some pretty decent volume today, comparably speaking to the earlier part of this week. So we weren't looking at a low volume day too poorly today, but what we really didn't see was any conviction. We didn't really see the market knew where it wanted to go. We really want to make sure we wait for the best opportunities. Now, because the volume wasn't so low, we really didn't get that much of a heads up until we started taking some trades. The first trade today here was on Crude. This is at 9:48. Now, of course, we'll zoom in on this for you. And of course, at this point, guys, we had begun to see price start to make, right, this upward trend. Now, we had just come out of this consolidation area, right? We had lots of consolidation here. and this sideways range, of course, we broke to the upside. That stretched out my trigger line, gave me a nice steep slope to my trigger line, and of course we break above this red line here. Now this red line, of course, is automatically located for me, right? And then of course we then look for the swing high above that red line. So this red line, of course, here at about 47, we then of course have your swing high. This swing high here is at 50, and then once we broke that swing high, again going with the trend, we took the breaker long. The fill here was at 52. We got stopped out in this trade, which of course gave us a little bit of feedback right away from the market. Kind of surprised, obviously. We took pretty much the perfect setup. There was really nothing to worry about this time. So it was a good decision, but a bad result. And as you can imagine, guys, this happens all the time. Even if you have an 80% winning ratio on your trades, you're still going to have 20 trades out of 100 trades that will still go against you. So we expect to take losses every once in a while. This one was a little bit surprising, though, because there really wasn't any reason for the loss other than the market simply decided it wanted to crumble a little bit lower. As you guys can see, it came down here, right? Came down, stopped, right? Stopped us all out, and then, of course, then jumped back to the upside. So we made the right decision. Right, we were trading with the correct direction. The problem is because of the lack of conviction, as we already talked about earlier, right? That lack of conviction, right? We're not seeing that in the fall through. We're not seeing that big strong move after this thing broke above that 50 level. So we took a stop, not obviously the plan of attack, but we got to take what we can get. Now in our next trade here, just after 10 o'clock, we had to really follow our rules, guys. What we saw in the first trade was we didn't have much conviction. In other words, even though we had made the right trading decision, the market had a different idea of what it wanted to do. So we know, guys, there are two ways to lose money. There's making bad decisions, and then there's making good decisions in a market that has different plans for you. So when I see a good decision on the first trade go wrong, I know, of course, to be very careful because it looks like the markets are not in a position to give us kind of what we're looking for today. So I'm using a lot more caution now. After the first loss, second trade now, very important. I wait for the perfect pattern because, as you know, two stops, back to back, I'll be out of this day. I'll be sitting on my hands the rest of the day here. So second trade, guys, here, second trade on gold. This is, of course, we were battling this sideways market, as you guys can see. We had a lot of sideways markets going on all day today, and the gold was no different. So we had to really wait for that trigger line here. As price broke above, we waited to see that trigger line get nice and steep slope to it. We had this red line here, right? This red line is just above that 15 level there, about 15.3. On that red line, of course, major level of resistance here. Once we broke above that 15.3 level, as you can see, we have a double top here, right? Double tops. We've got your 16.1, right, is your swing high. Once we break above that 16.1, there's your entry. 10.01, of course, Phil was at 16.4. This was a breaker long. Luckily, you made all that money back and got us back in the green here. 4, 8, and 7, totaling 23 ticks there at 10 bucks a tick. There's your 230. So we gave back 18 in the first trade, made back that 18 plus some, a couple ticks more on the second trade. Great example, guys, of how we really have to pay attention to if we are in a market that is showing us kind of the inability to really extend, no confirmation. Even though we had some good volume, we want to be careful. And of course, once I saw this trade, we watched out for some other trades this morning. Didn't really see things line up. Difficult to see things really line up according to our rules this morning. But guys, days like that will happen. It's all about how we react to it. Let's recap. Live trade room opens up tomorrow morning at 7:45 a.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow morning, come and join us. We'll show you guys how to tape read. We'll show you guys how we use the pace of a tape indicator, and we'll show you guys how we follow these rules live in real time. Of course, we do free webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tomorrow's a Friday, so no webinar tomorrow. We'll give you free 3 weeks as part of your trial. Guys, you're going to see the market in a completely different way, this I guarantee. Grab a copy of the beginner's course on the way in. Please rate and comment on this video. And for more information about lifetime membership, please drop us an email at sales@schooloftrade.com. My name is Joseph James. Live room opens up tomorrow morning, 7:45 Eastern time, guys. Don't miss a tick. We'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.